A year ago, President Trump promised to ramp up the fight against ISIS and pledged that his foremost priority was going to be the war against ISIS when it came to fighting terrorism. Joining us now with more on this is Nicholas Rasmussen. He most recently served as director of the National Counterterrorism Center for both Presidents Trump and Obama, stepping down from the post only a month ago after 27 years of government service. We're super excited to have you with us today, Nick. Thank
you, Jen. It's great to be here.
You have this unique perspective, having worked for both administrations in a top 5 intelligence committee position. So I want to ask you first and foremost, year one, today's the anniversary of the Trump administration. Where are we in the fight against ISIS and in the fight against terrorism more broadly, and how would you categorize where we are?
Sure. The fight against ISIS has produced some remarkable successes this year. There's no question that after a year's time, we have made a tremendous amount of progress at constraining the amount of territory the group holds. We've taken lots and lots of fighters off the battlefield. We've made it far more difficult for ISIS to operate in Iraq and Syria. Those are all very good things, and ISIS is clearly on the decline. That's very much the good news story, and there's no way to argue about that. On the negative side, though, one of the things that makes ISIS so difficult and so challenging is their ability to inspire people around the globe, including here inside the United States. And they can do that even when they are getting whacked on the battlefield pretty hard. So even when things are going badly for them on the ground in Iraq and Syria, and they still have a way of inspiring individuals with their narrative, with their propaganda, and turning those individuals, often who are just lone actors, into potential terrorists.
Do you think it's fair to say that while the first year has seen the so-called caliphate hit pretty hard, ISIS territory that ISIS previously held inside Iraq and Syria, the fight has sort of largely migrated online, and that they are increasing their presence in cyberspace and their sort of pull?
Well, as the physical caliphate has been taken away from them, obviously the organization needs to try to find other ways to have impact. And one of those ways they can have impact is by mobilizing and motivating people around the world. And they do that through remote connections online, in the online environment. An individual who's never even met someone from ISIS, but can latch on to the ideology, latch on to the narrative, that person can become dangerous too when they have been pushed and motivated and prodded by ISIS propaganda. They may not have the tools of a terrorist organization. They may not be well trained, but they can certainly wreak havoc.
Now, what about, I think our viewers would be really interested to hear your perspective on how things have changed, or whether they've changed, strategic priorities from the end of the Obama administration moving into the Trump administration.
Sure, it's a great question. I served under President Bush, I served under President Obama, and then again under President Trump. And I think in the main, there has been a tremendous amount of continuity over time in our counterterrorism policy. The campaign against ISIS was certainly underway at the time of the inauguration last year. The broad outlines of that campaign to take back the physical caliphate, to destroy the physical caliphate that ISIS had, that campaign was already underway and in play. But certainly as the new administration came on, they brought their own particular priorities to bear on that campaign. They certainly sought to accelerate that campaign with more resources in some cases, with in some cases a greater tolerance for risk. And so I would argue that there has been some acceleration of the campaign over the last year.
I think I'm not alone amongst our viewers when I say it's very reassuring to hear you talk about the continuity between President Obama and Trump. It's not something we really hear a lot when it comes to the national defense. Nick Rasmussen, we've got to leave it there, but we hope to have you back soon. Thanks so much.